I'm going to call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm going to start with, gosh, I don't want to, I'm not going to pick you all the way from the back. Mike. Would somebody like to come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Please do. Pardon? Oh, wait. But one thing first. Do we have a report from closed session?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There's nothing to report from closed session.
Okay, well, I do. I wanted to announce that we have been notified that our city manager will be retiring in June. So we're going to begin the process of looking for a new city manager, which is going to be a hard one to fill. And with that, now would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Are there any items for agenda review? No. We're going out of order today. It's a new year. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Litzter,
Here.
Councilmember Kavanaugh,
Here.
Councilmember Judge,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes,
Here.
Mayor Thomas.
Here. Right. Are there any items for agenda review? Seeing none.
Mr. Mayor, I move that all resolutions and ordinances presented tonight be read in title only and all further reading be waived.
Second.
Call for a vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
If any member of the city council may have a conflict of interest or any reason why that member must abstain from consideration of any matter on this agenda, he or she should declare so at this time. And seeing none, we can proceed.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, the first item on the agenda is item 2, public statements on appointments, special presentations, and informational reports. Mr. Mayor, we have no speakers for this item this evening. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, the first item on the agenda, or the next item on the agenda, is item 3A1, appointment of representation of City Council board members and boards on boards, commissions, and committees, and consideration of recommended changes. Mr. Mayor Thomas and members of the City Council, each year in December or January, the City Council reviews City Council representation on local, regional board, commissions, and committees. The complete list of appointments as proposed is shown as attachment A to the staff report. The committees with 1 asterisk, historically the appointee has been the mayor, and 2 asterisks, the appointee has been the mayor pro tem. It is recommended that the City Council consider the proposed appointments to local and regional boards, commissions, and committees, make any changes you so desire, and move to fill these positions. Department heads are available to answer any questions you may have specific to any boards, commissions, or committee. This concludes staff's report.
Okay, so does anyone have any preferences or opinions on?
Mr. Mayor, there were a couple of items that I saw were historically mayor pro tem, and I know that the League of California Cities, to be mayor pro tem as an alternate there, I would hate to miss I might miss the first day of the conference, and I don't know if there's any voting that happens on the first day. And so I think that having Mike, Councilmember Judge, remain as the alternate is probably a good one for that.
I have no problem doing that. The voting won't be till the last day, but I have no problem.
Okay.
Go that route. If you're there, you can vote.
All right.
Okay. Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Hi, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I just really had two that I would like to remain on. One is the EDC. I'm the outgoing chair, so I prefer to stay on that, the Economic Development Collaborative, for one more year. And I would also prefer to stay on the Ventura County Animal Services, as we will be hiring a new director for VCAS also, as Jackie Rose is retiring in June. So I would prefer, those are the only two I really have a strong preference to remain on. Anything else, I'm open.
Mr. Mayor, I did have one other. The Southern California Association of Governments, SCAG, General Assembly voting representative, as Councilmember Judge is on the executive council there, I think that he would be much more highly qualified than myself as a mayor pro tem, even though I sit on SCAG, to be the alternate.
Wait, what are you looking at? SCAG?
It's a General Assembly voting representative.
Uh-huh.
That's for,
What I have is showing me with Mike as an alternate.
Right,
so
and
it's Mayor Pro Tem.
it's just,
It's usually the Mayor Pro Tem.
it's historically mayor pro tem, and
Oh.
leaving him there, I think, is
Oh, I see
appropriate.
what you're saying.
But I think it would be, Mayor, it would be the alternate to you. I think you're still listed primarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I'm not speaking up just because I'm really happy with where I'm serving right now, but
Yeah.
if you want me to discuss it, we sure can.
Yeah, I mean, I have no issues with any of these, so if anyone has something that they really want to do that I currently have, that's fine. Or if anyone has something that they're doing that they don't really want to do, we could throw it out there, but
Mr. Mayor, I move that we accept the list as presented
with
Second,
With the noted changes.
with noted.
noted changes. Okay,
second.
okay, call for a vote.
The motion passes unanimously. Okay. Mr. Mayor, members of City Council, next on the agenda is item 4, public statements. I apologize. I think I skipped there.
How does this turn on?
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 3B1, presentation of the 2023 State of the Region Report by David Marin of the Ventura County Civic Alliance.
While we're waiting, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, members of the audience and staff. And Brian, just take a moment to acknowledge I've worked with you long before when you were the deputy city manager, because I was wearing my other hat. Many of you know me as the League of Women Voters moderator, and the city of Simi Valley has always been very helpful. And Brian, all I can say is you're a class act, it'll be tough to follow, and where do I apply? No, I'm joking about the last item. I'm totally unqualified for fill your shoes. All right, good evening. I'm David Marin with the Ventura County Civic Alliance. We're a regional nonprofit that looks at information across Ventura County as far as from the perspective of the economy, the environment, social equity. This report that I'm sharing is available online. If anyone's interested, civicalliance.org. You can download it. We go around the county, distribute this report for free. You've got copies. And we can't do that without the generosity of some of our larger sponsors, such as the Ventura County Community Foundation, the Ventura County Community College District, and our other large sponsors, Era Energy, AT&T, Channel Islands University, Limoneira, County of Ventura, and the Port of Hueneme. The full list of sponsors is on the inside back cover. So I want to start off by talking a little bit about the median age in Ventura County. Those of you who have been here a while have heard me mention this in other years, but back in 2000, the average age was 34.2, and now we're up to 38.7. Ventura County is just getting older. We're not having enough children, and that's down here on the bottom. you can actually see for each city, we have the population, so Simi Valley, and we show that 20.8% of your population in 2021 was under 18, 15.7 was over 65. You can compare yourself to some of the other cities, but our population overall in the county has been flat for the last 6 years, actually declined a little bit. Agriculture, I know we're not really an agricultural city here in Simi Valley, but just to update you, strawberries continue to be the #1 crop. Avocados, #2 in the area. Certainly generates about 4% of our overall gross, about a $2 billion industry in Ventura County. We export around the world. Community engagement, you're all elected politicians, so I always like to show the registration numbers. So Ventura County, as of 2023, was about 28.2% no party preference, 28.1% Republicans in red, Democrats in blue. The Democrats have stayed about level countywide, but the loss has been with Republicans moving towards the no party preference or new registrations. I think more people register today as no party preference than they used to in the past. By city, you can see that Simi Valley is the only city now with a plurality of Republicans. All the other cities have a plurality of Democrats, and in some cases like Oxnard, Ojai, Port Hueneme, Santa Paula, it's a majority Democrat. So the county is changing. I haven't shared this before, but I'd like to point out just how vibrant our nonprofit sector is. So the top half of this chart shows the number of people in Ventura County working in nonprofits, a little over 10,000. And we exclude the major nonprofits that are hospitals. Community Memorial Hospital, they have St. John's. Those are considered nonprofits, but they generate so much money. It distorts everything else. But $473 million of payroll in Ventura County just to people who work in the nonprofit sector. Overall, the county's total wages in 2022 were about $21 billion. I was surprised it was that high. Economy, so jobs are coming back, but this shows you what the pandemic did. So back around 2019, we were peaking at 321,000 jobs. We dipped because of the pandemic. We still haven't quite got back to where we were pre-pandemic. But the overall unemployment rate is very low. We're doing fairly well as a county. This shows the breakdown by manufacturing and what we call goods producing. So the number of jobs has slightly increased. Manufacturing has picked up, which is a very good thing because manufacturing pays a very high average salary, $77,000. Construction, a few more jobs. So we're staying stable. The wages are going up, even in ag. So those are good news, good things, but it's not as robust as we might hope. The service sector, that's where all of the jobs are coming from. You can see that low-paying jobs like leisure and hospitality, they've grown as far as the number of jobs. These are entry level. We really want people to go into the financial activities, the information services, and some of that. But we've included the government, local, state, and federal government, and you can see that we've had a fairly good amount of a run-up in the salaries in those sectors, but there's a lot more detail in the report to read, but it's a mixed economy in a sense. So we're growing. Not all of the jobs are in the high-paying sectors. We really want to attract to Ventura County those high-paying industries like IT, health services, financial activities. And this is the overall, what you would call the GDP, but it's for the county. And Ventura County is flatlined for pretty much the last 10 years, a little uptick in 2021. These are in inflation-adjusted dollars going backwards, so it's reflective of what the economy really is. It looks like, well, it's good news that we haven't gone down, but it's bad news because the state and the nation have gone up significantly. Ventura County is not keeping up with our neighbors in the overall economy. This is also new as far as taxable sales, that we break it out by city. And so you can see taxable sales for Simi Valley, $16,000 per capita. Some of the larger cities like Thousand Oaks and Ventura and Oxnard, well, they have auto malls. And so they're going to have the bigger amount of per person sales. Camarillo has the outlet malls. But Simi Valley is solid in the middle there as far as taxable sales per capita. Education, this goes back to when I showed how we're getting older in Ventura County. This is showing the decline in enrollment. So the green is the blue is K through 8, and the green is the high school grades. And you can see the projections are for a continued decline because there's less children. Young families are waiting longer to have children. They have less children, or they move away to have children. So that's going to impact all of our school districts. And here's Simi Valley Unified. You can see that back in 2019, we were around 16,500. It's dipped over 5% to 15,900. I'm always asked, well, could that be homeschool? Could be charters, but the homeschool isn't really counted in that to make enough of a difference. It has an effect, but it's not, that's a lot of students that we're losing. And in the community colleges, certainly the blue, which is Moorpark, close to you, you can see the decline that they've had. They continue to be the largest community college, but declining enrollment there. And likewise at the four-year university. I like to show this chart every year because it shows the value of education. If you are in high school and you get that degree and you're a male, you can look forward to making about $37,000 annual every year of your life, averaged out. But if you go on to get a bachelor's degree, more than double. And the same thing with women, $26,000 average for a high school, double that for a bachelor's degree, and even more for a graduate degree. So if you have children or grandchildren thinking about going on to college, it pays. It's worth it, even if you take out student loans, if you're the kind of person that'll complete it. But education pays, and the more education, the better. And it's going to continue that way as we see the growth in these high-tech industries like robotics, cyber, and also artificial intelligence. This is the percentage of homeowners. Simi Valley, right here in the middle, does pretty strong as far as over 2/3 of your population owns their home, less than 1/3 rents. You can see how it compares across. Typically, higher percentage of homeowners, the homes in the neighborhoods are a little more stable, more taken care of, but it also points out that maybe young people have a trouble finding places to rent. This is the unbelievable increase in housing prices. This is based on June. You may have seen recent numbers that are lower. We do the comparison by June. So the green is inflation adjusted, but the blue back last year was about $920,000 for an average home in Ventura County, $611, not quite as steep, actually less than it was in 2007, but for inflation. So that's the run up there. Simi Valley here right in the middle. As far as green was 2022, blue was 2023. You can see the listing of sales as well. I like to share this one all around the county because it shows that if we have young people and they graduate high school, they go to college, they move out of their parents, it's impossible to find a place that's under $2,000 a month for a standard 2-bedroom apartment. You can see up here, the blue line has been the average monthly rent. And I think for many of us, we remember when this was a mortgage. And now it's $2,700 for a 2-bedroom apartment in the county. And part of that is because the low occupancy. The landlords are in the driver's seat. Not only can they be very selective in who they rent to, but they can have more requirements as far as looking at your employment history, looking at your social media deposits. But Simi Valley has about $2,500 there for the average apartment rent. Natural resources, good news here, we continue to add solar capacity in Ventura County. We've added more solar capacity in '22 than we ever have before, and that adds up to about 234 megawatts, which is equivalent to a pretty good mid-sized natural gas plant that we've completely eliminated the need for because we have so much solar capacity. So that'll continue to grow. There's a lot of other data in the report as well showing where the decline in natural gas use in Ventura County as electricity use has gone up. And electricity use, obviously homeowners have more solar on their roofs, so they can use more electricity. So we're in a very good place as far as energy use. Water use, I mean, the county has adjusted to the droughts. You can see that most of the cities have decreased. This is the average residential water use per capita. The cities along the coast, like Oxnard, Port Hueneme, tend to use less, smaller yards, more density. These are broken out by per use per day. But our larger users are Westlake Village, more landscaping, bigger lots, less people per home. Simi Valley is pretty solid there in the two districts that we do. I always get lost with water districts because it seems like there's 8,000 of them here in Ventura County. You know, it's like the guy down the block has his own water district, but we hit the highlights here. Public health. So I mentioned this earlier as far as we are getting older, and here this puts it into graphic relief as far as our birth rate. So regardless of the number of the people, this is the average number of births per 1,000 residents. And we peaked back around 1991 when we had a little over 19 births per 1,000 residents. That number has pretty much gone down almost in half. So that shows you the amount of our women of childbearing age have had many less children over the years. And so even the count, even when Ventura County was a much smaller population back in 1990, we had 12,700 births. In 2020, only 85. Now, throughout the nation, the birth rate has declined. But statewide and nationwide, the rate of drop has been less than in Ventura County. So we are being, whatever the reasons, it is impacting us more. And of course, as we get older, we're not going to have young people to do many of the jobs we need, to go into the healthcare, take care of us. We're just getting older. And I would, not that you asked, but I would certainly suggest policies, you know, at a cities and county level as far as incentives for families, stipends to help families, whether it's private sector or public sector, the schools, other things. I think that as policymakers and when you talk with others, what can we do to promote family formation? Opioid deaths has hit Ventura County significantly. Over, I think, about 200 plus people died of opioid deaths in 2022. So that's 4 people a week across the county. Though in your reports, there's also a breakdown of just fentanyl, which is significant. And this chart here compares us to the other counties. This is the fentanyl-related one. So you can see that here are the numbers of Ventura County. We went from under 40 in 2019, we quadrupled to over 168 in 2022. So fentanyl is everywhere, and I certainly caution everyone to be careful of any type of medication that you get that is not from a reliable pharmacy.
And may I just a quick
Please.
question, if I'm reading this correctly. So you're saying that our fentanyl-related deaths are a higher rate than Los Angeles County by size, because it's per 1,000 by size?
This is, yes, per 100,000 residents. So Los Angeles County is higher because they had 1,442.
in total
Oh,
number,
I'm
but
sorry,
as a
that's the total count.
percentage.
Yes, that's true. Our count is higher. Likewise with San Luis Obispo. And I think it's actually somewhat tied to wealth. The wealthier counties are being hit a little harder.
And this actually says that our county is the highest, at least on this chart.
Correct. Of the ones that we listed, yes.
Right, of the what I listed.
Oh, it's a significant, you know, I'm sure the district attorney, the sheriff, they're all going out trying to do what we can because we just have this thing where people may think they can buy these medications from mail order or from Mexico or something, and nobody knows what's really in them, and it's too often that it's going into the mainstream. I'm sure you're seeing that from your work in crime. Okay. This is the actual numbers of COVID deaths through October 6th, Simi Valley, right there about in the middle. I mean, it's all way too many everywhere in the county, but you can see there's some interesting comparisons as you look at the different cities and how it spread, whether it's vaccination. A lot of it, like Oxnard, may have been more about density. The number of people living in one home caused more people to become sick. Public safety, more good news here. Ventura County in 2022 was the safest of the 15 largest counties in the state. So you can see our property crime and violent crime here. And this is not the first time it's happened. Ventura County is usually very near the top, if not the top. and San Francisco County, which is the same as the city, the unique properties of San Francisco, but they are almost always at the bottom of the chart. So good news for law enforcement. I know the chief's back there, so congratulations to him and everyone else. And overall, Ventura County crimes have gone down. I mean, it feels like it's bad. Certainly when your neighbor gets robbed, it feels terrible, but overall long-term crime rate in the county is continuing to go down. This is by city. Simi Valley's had a decrease in the violent crimes and a decrease in the property crime. Ventura and Oxnard tend to be the highest in the county. Social services, we have homeless counts. I'm going to track all that. I won't go into too much detail. Continues to rise. There is some thought that maybe the rise is because there's more accurate record keeping on the day of the census. It's automated. They have touchpads and other things. Hard to say, but the number is way too high, both for vets and the regular unhoused. We have the information in here by city. Student homelessness, you can see we broke out Simi Valley numbers. Homelessness for students is completely different from adults. It's not a one-day survey. It's the students fill out something in the schools that says, hey, have you ever slept on a friend's couch because you couldn't sleep at home? Were you ever sleeping in a car? So almost no students are sleeping on the streets. It has to do with a different metric. And the numbers seem high for 2022, 23, but that's often reduced after the state does its analysis. So that just gives you an insight to that. Domestic violence throughout the county, Simi Valley is towards the bottom end of that. That's great. And I'm wrapping up here. Transportation, this is a new chart. We're showing the number of people that are working from home. So it's pretty much doubled in Ventura County. Obviously, Zoom and all those other tools make that easier. And finally, traffic. This shows you, this is Caltrans data from their sensors. Looking at, say, your Highway 118, you see that actually the number of millions of miles traveled is actually going down even after the pandemic. So we saw the dip from the pandemic, but something is happening long-term where we're seeing less people on all of our freeways, and that could be because they're working from home, could be carpooling, could be some other things. Maybe they're getting jobs closer to home. We've always promoted that. I know their city has as well. So that could be part of the reason for that. Okay, this is only 4 last slides. It's a little bit of fun here. It's how well do you know your city? And what I've done is I've taken some key metrics, and the lowest, there's 10 cities. So think of on the far end is one city, and on the highest is the other 10 cities, and where you fall. So population-wise, this is how you rank in the county. You're about the 8th highest population-wise. Your density per square mile, about your average age under 17, a little lower than most of the other cities. 65, a little higher. Your median age, about 8th as well. So just sort of shows you how you match up males to females for those who are dating. This gives you an idea how your city is doing. Here's some things about taxable. I showed the taxable sales. You can see where you're falling about in the middle. Unemployment, crime, about midway there. Average water use, again, solidly in the middle there. The amount of food that had to be distributed to people who needed it in your city was less than average, great. And your bike lanes are above average. That's good news as well. And finally, here's where you are the tops, as in 2022, you issued the most housing permits of any city in Ventura County. But you can see your median family income is in the upper percentiles there, same with your home prices, average apartment rents. So I hope you enjoyed it, a little different. And with that, thank you. We've been doing this for many years. Again, for the audience, this is available online at civicalliance.org for free. And I'll leave a few of the reports out on the table when I leave. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Always look forward to this.
Thank you. And I should acknowledge that Councilman Judge and Councilman Rhodes came to our rollout event November 1st. And thank you very much for attending. And probably the most important thing is that our chair is Samantha Argerbright, who is, of course, the Deputy City Manager. So we're grateful to everybody's support.
Councilmember Lister.
So I just have a question about that last statistic, the quality of those building permits that we've issued.
Most of them were multifamily, I'll tell you that. About 380, I believe, if my memory's right, it was multifamily, and about 70 were single-family. So I think you had some big projects that
When
probably
you say
came out,
multifamily, does that include,
apartments.
right, but that doesn't include accessory dwelling units?
I don't know the answer to that. Great question, Ms. Lister. Is it? Yes, it does. Your city manager is telling me.
Okay,
So, maybe.
just, okay. Well, we'll have to remember that statistic when we're having discussions. I guess I had one other question, I'm sorry, but it's quite a ways back. When you're discussing the rise in nonprofit employment, or
The amount of,
that slide you talked about, just how many jobs were in the nonprofit sector.
yes.
Did that include government, that figure? Did that include
No, it wouldn't include government. It's,
the public sector was not included in the nonprofit?
so they would be under the state's classification for nonprofit corporations. So the public entities would not be considered nonprofits unless they were separately filing a 501c3.
Okay. Okay.
Right. And you may have noticed also the average salary was about 46,000, but for all workers it's by 65,000. You may say, well, that doesn't seem right. Why are we not paying them as much? But in the nonprofit sector, we don't have as many high-end executives who are pulling in 500,000 or $1 million salaries. But with the Amgens, the Trade Desk, the others, they're pulling up the average for everyone. So it's a pure average. So,
Got it.
but I would certainly argue everybody in that sector deserves to be well compensated.
Agreed. And the only one final question. Your recommendation to us is that we should have policies that would incentivize and help family growth.
How about suggestion?
That was your suggestion. So I want to know if you have some recommendations as far as policies. Do you think they would do that?
Well, I'm sure it's challenging to attract workers because of the low unemployment and for the work here, and that you and other industries, maybe there is some opportunities to look at stipends for young families, certain ages. Maybe it's more hours that could be more flexible, so people that have childcare needs. Maybe there's just providing services to the community about childcare services, because maybe not everyone knows where they can go. And one of the big things to help young families is the new TK program. So in the state of California, education now, four-year-olds can start going to school, and 3-year-olds soon, and that's a significant savings on the cost.
Well, and Simi Valley has already fully implemented TK right now.
Right, so that should be helping young families in that they don't have to pay for childcare as much. So I think just promoting, sharing that, helping to encourage people, or when you are interviewed and talk, that this is a family-friendly city and help young people get started. I think we should all try and do that.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes?
David, so you're right. I got to see the presentation twice so far, but there's so much data. It's so rich. It's so deep, and it's valuable to every city in the county that you produce this. So thank you for that. My question for you is, what is the most surprising or alarming piece of data that you drew from this that is the red sign that says warning?
I think it's the birth rate. Yeah. There's a lot of good news. It looks like some of it's bad. We've had some of this for years, but just the decline in birth rate and what that will turn out to be. Think about schools having to lay off teachers, closing schools. We probably won't build another high school in Ventura County for 10 or 20 years, if that, only to replace something. So it'll start having this ripple effect as we lose young people. And then if they all decide to move away because we don't have low apartments and other things. And I just think that it's a very important statistic. And of course, the opioids, the amount of abuse that's happening there as well. But thank you, it's a great question.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 3C1, informational presentation by Youth Council member Sadie Rowe.
Good evening, Mayor Thomas and the members of the City Council. I, alongside the Simi Valley Youth Council, would like to thank you for your encouragement and support as we start this new year, 2024. My name is Sadie Rowe. I'm a current freshman at Simi Valley High School, and this is my second year serving on the Youth Council. I value this opportunity to speak on behalf of the Youth Council and the new accomplishments we have achieved in the past 2 months. The Youth Council Mental Health Committee created a mental health survey that was sent out to all middle and high school students, encouraging everyone to participate by taking the mental health survey. Being a part of the mental health committee, we all felt the importance of creating this survey as many individuals in our youth face mental health issues on a daily basis. We hope that through this survey, it would allow people to express their feelings while emphasizing the value of prioritizing mental health, and that we will be able to gather further evidence to support our work plan and grasp a better understanding of what our peers are currently experiencing. The survey gathers information from a wide range of students, allowing for maximum responses and perspectives. We hope that through the survey results, we as a committee can discover new ways to help our peers who are struggling with their mental health. I'm pleased to announce that our initial goal was to gather 700 responses, but to our surprise have now amassed over 1,000 responses. The Mental Health Committee is looking forward to the many ways we can use these results to further the betterment of youth in our community. Lastly, I would like to give an update on our annual Simi Valley Talent Show, an event that we put together every year as a way to recognize and showcase the talent of many individuals in our community. This event always brings the community together, allowing an opportunity for people to display their passions in front of a live audience, whether through dance, music, singing, group, or solo performances. We have finalized our date to be Wednesday, April 17th at the Simi Valley Cultural Arts Center. As a part of the audition process, act videos will be accepted through March 8th at bit.ly/talentshow2024. Please encourage talented performers to participate in the event and save the date to attend our annual talent show. Before I end, I would like to ask everyone to support the Simi Valley Youth Council by following us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Simi Valley Youth Council. I would like to thank Mayor Thomas and the City Council once again for this wonderful opportunity to speak on behalf of the Simi Valley Youth Council. We are all beyond grateful for your continuous support and appreciation towards the Youth Council throughout all these years. At this time, I would be happy to hear any of your comments or answer any other questions.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just real quick, Ms. Tignac, I just want to commend you and the Youth Council. You are all wonderful speakers. You come up and represent the council so well. I appreciate all the information you share with us, and you're only a freshman. That's very, very impressive, your confidence and presence here. So thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Councilmember Litster.
Thank you. Appreciate your report. And I just had a question. Coming up this month at the Reagan, what is that? Would you just, maybe I missed that. I could have, it's the town hall, correct? Is that you're sponsoring that? Well, do you want to just give a few more details? And
Well, we'll actually have an announcement on it. It
okay.
was supposed to be on Thursday, January 18th, so we'll be making an announcement. We just heard from the Reagan about something, so but we'll keep you guys
So it's not in the report. I get it. Okay.
it will be postponed a little bit.
Not a problem. Okay, I apologize. I just was looking for details. No, again, appreciate all that you both do. Thank you, Sadie.
Thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 4, public statements. Since there are no public hearings under agenda item 5 this evening, agenda items 4 and 6 are combined, and the council will hear all public statements under agenda item 4. Agenda item 4 and 6 are the times allotted for public statements on all items other than public hearings, appointments, and informational reports. Speakers will be called on in the order in which their card was submitted to speak for this public statements item 4 for a period of no more than 3 minutes each. Persons addressing the City Council are requested to state their name and community of residence for the record. Mr. Mayor, unless you have any comments, we can begin public statements.
Please proceed.
Thank you. First speaker is Rob Stutz.
Good evening. My name is Bob Stutz, and I live here in Simi Valley for the last 42 years. I have been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and it's a progressive disease. It started with my left hand shaking just a little bit, and moved to my right hand and to my left leg after about 2 or 3 years. And the doctors told me that there's no cure for this. It's progressive. It gets worse as time goes on. But they did say what isn't so important is exercise. So I try to go out and walk 2 to 3 miles every day to get the exercise. In addition to that, I attend the Body Brain Train classes that have been specifically designed for people like myself to challenge not only the physical body, but the mind. And so my request this evening is that you consider fully funding the request that has been submitted for Body, Brain, and Train so the program can be enlarged and we can reach more people in our wonderful time. Thank you for your consideration.
Nikki Leon.
Good evening, Mayor Thomas and City Council. My name is Nikki Leanne, and I am the co-owner of Body Brain Train. We are a nonprofit organization that helps bring fitness and wellness to the senior and Parkinson's community. I wanted to thank the city for all the support and love that we've received over the past few years. We would not be up and running and able to do what we do without your faith and support. Last year, we were able to receive part of the events grant to run our Punch-a-thon fundraiser. We were able to turn the $4,000 received into approximately $30K, which with some other small fundraisers and donations carried us through 2023, our program through 2023. We use it to pay rent, liability insurance, van insurance and gas, utilities, and currently we have an overhead of about $6,000 a month. I understand our draw for this particular event isn't as big as the street fair or roundup or some of the other outstanding events that take place in Simi Valley and draw thousands of people. But as you can see, we're doing a lot of work for our senior and Parkinson's community to help them have a better quality of life so they can attend events such as the street fair, roundup, and Little House on the Prairie. Please consider giving us our full ask amount so we can continue to grow and provide for a special population that increases daily. We thank you for your consideration and continued support. Thank you.
Jenny Allen.
Good evening, council members. My name is Jenny Allen. I've been a volunteer with Body Brain Train for over a year. I've seen this organization make significant and sustaining impact in the lives of our senior members and those with disabilities such as Parkinson's. Body Brain Train is bringing fitness, both mental and physical, to these people, our seniors, an ever-growing demographic in our community, as you have just heard. I've stood here before in the past and expressed the virtues of exercise being the fountain of youth, and I will restate that. Exercise, movement, community. This is all paramount of importance to all of us, particularly seniors, especially as we age. We as a society need to look out for our seniors and those with any kind of disability, and Body Brain Train does that remarkably. I stand here in support of this organization and humbly ask that you consider granting them the $4,000 as you did last year for the upcoming Punch-a-thon fundraiser. As Nikki has outlined, that $4,000 you granted prior more than quadrupled over the course of the year. Body Brain Train is a small organization, but so vitally important to our community. Thank you for your continued support.
Carolyn Duncan.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager, and congratulations, Brian. You scared me when I first started working here in '87. Also, Mr. City Attorney, City Council. I'm Carolyn Duncan. I've lived here in Simi Valley since 1971. I'm here to support Body Brain Train organization. I don't want to be redundant for David and but I did get my my numbers from the U.S. Census. They almost mirror what he did, and I'm certainly going to get his information because it was fascinating. But I will read this so I don't miss anything. According to the U.S. Census Bureau of July 1st, 2022, Simi Valley's population declined 1.6%, and the population of people 65 years and older represented over 16.5%. David said 17, probably correct. The median age of Simi Valley is 41, which is slightly higher than the median age of United States, 38 and a half years old. That means Simi Valley has a population that's shrinking in size and increasing in age, but could have implications for its economic and social development. Also, a decline in an aging population could result in employee shortages, lower tax base, higher demand for health care, social services, and reduced innovation and creativity potential. However, the City Council of Simi Valley can and has taken some measures to address the challenges faced by our aging demographic. Funding for the Body Brain Train program last year and the request for the $4,000 this year would greatly enhance and expand a program for this increasing underserved population. Body Brain Train provides innovative and creative services for the aging and health challenged population, especially those diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Body Brain Train has stepped up to meet the need for the city. They rely on donations, fundraisers, and appreciated grants awarded by the City Council. There is no cost to seniors or those with health issues, many who are on a fixed income, for the Body Brain Train programs. Body Brain Train, with the help of the City Council, helps promote services for this underserved population to enhance the health and well-being of older adults by providing accessible and affordable recreation services, as well as encouraging physical activity and social engagements. Body Brain Train does appreciate the preliminary $2,000 reward, but requests that the City Council consider the need for the programs provided by this organization and award the full $4,000 grant request. I thank you for permitting me to speak to you about this incredible program. Good luck, Brian.
Debbie Jew.
Good evening. My name's Debbie Jew. I've had Parkinson's for 18 years, and I still keep fighting, and I need a place to go. And Body, Brain, and Train is the place in the community. And they work us really hard, and it's a challenge. And they work on our cognitive as well as our physical. And they're just wonderful, and they need the support so that we can continue to get the support that we need. That's it.
Leon Roth.
Good evening. My name is Leon Roth. Thank you for letting me speak. As you heard earlier, Parkinson's disease can be very difficult to deal with, and exercise is one of the most important features. I came across Body Brain Train about a year ago, and it's been a game changer for me. I basically am much stronger, much more flexible. I have more stamina. I'm not consistently tired. It's just changed my whole life. And I realize we're a small organization, and I know a lot of people come for money, but you've been so helpful in the past. We would really appreciate any help you can give us this year. Thank you so much.
Elizabeth Bauer.
Hi, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's about 2.5 years ago, and so I'm fairly early in it, but I don't want to get more advanced in the symptoms. I was going to a gym that I went to like probably 4 or 5 days a week, but it wasn't really helping me all that much. And then Leon, who actually is my neighbor, told me about Body, Brain, and Train. And what we're working on with me is balance, because my balance can be poor, strength. I really need strength, especially if I fall down. I need strength to be able to get back up. It's just not something I would get from a regular gym. I get it from them because they are specialized. They really research about Parkinson's and what's the best thing for us. So I hope that you will be able to support them. Thank you.
Bob Burdock?
Yes, my name is Bob Murdoch. I'm a citizen of Simi Valley. I'm also a veteran of the U.S. Army, 1955, 6, and 7. These ladies offer a service that is invaluable to the whole community. When I came here, I needed help to get up out of a chair, and as you can see, I was able to get up by myself. I've seen other people improve quite a bit along these lines. I don't have Parkinson, but it's easy to see people improving that do have that. So they're serving other things other than Parkinson, and it's age-related things. And we're told by doctors that we all need to exercise more to get over our illnesses or to prevent them. And also it slows down aging. Aging will happen to all of you if you live long enough. And I never expected to live to be 87, but I did. We learn exercises that we can take home and do them on our own time to help progress. The programs that they give are a real asset to the whole community and the services that that are needed for many. I would encourage you to come and sit in and watch one of those classes so you can see what you're giving to as a city council members. And thank you very much for listening.
Linda Bosley?
This is my first time speaking to the City Council. I'm Linda Bosley. I'm the past president of the Simi Valley Historical Society, and I live in Moore Park, which actually was a part of Strathern Ranch. I don't know if you guys knew that, but it was. I want to start by thanking the city for the 2023 grant we received for our Dia de los Muertos event. Our Dia de los Muertos event is an important fundraiser for Historical Society projects. All the money that we raise stays at Strathern Park. I don't know if everybody understands that. It is also a very popular cultural event for the community. The 2023 Dia de los Muertos grant supported the event, which took place on October 29th, which happened to be the worst windstorm that we had. I don't know if any of you remember that day. We started our event at 11 a.m., and at 12 noon, the power went off. We had all of our entertainers there, our food vendors, our craft vendors, our ofrende, the altars were set up in the barn, and the show went on. Our entertainers were fantastic. The mariachis provided the music for the dancers since we had no power for audio. It actually was a little bit more intimate. We had a little over 1,000 people who still came through the gate. We stopped charging at noon. It just didn't seem right since we didn't have power to keep charging people. And we got donations, so that helped to offset some of our costs. Without the grant, though, we would have definitely been in the hole. Okay, so it was very important to us this past year. The Historical Society appreciates any support the city can give us. And with our Dia de los Muertos, and as I mentioned, all the funds stay at Strathern Park. We currently have finished our mural project. If you come by the park, you can see that. We just got word that we have a couple other things that we're working on that are coming up with the Prince Pal House And if you have any questions for me, feel free to give us a holler. Thank you very much.
Rick Cordero?
Hello, my name is Ricky Cordero, and the funding we're requesting, we need to help a group in Simi Valley, not just us, but everybody who has Parkinson's. If you were to watch Michael J. Fox, you gotta turn the channel because he's just out of control. And I sit here and talk to you knowing that's where I'm gonna be eventually. So everybody here that has talked about Parkinson's stresses exercise. The amount of dopamine that goes into your brain, you never get ahead of it. You have to tie it. And that's the break even. So I worked out today. I work out Tuesdays, I work out Wednesdays, I work out Thursdays, I work out Fridays, I work out Saturday, and now I got my wife who wants me to do the dishes, vacuum, on top of all that stuff. So now I have 2 lists. But I wouldn't be here today, I think. The amount of exercise that you need to do to fulfill your obligation to stay winning, but you're only tying. Now, I will say this. I'm 67 years old. I've been competitive my whole life. I never thought I'd get Parkinson's. I'd get a cold, I'd get a runny nose, I'd get something, but you got Parkinson's. You guys play golf? Any good? I am one competitive dude. I'm still shooting 80s, but I don't shake playing golf. It's something in my brain that just takes over. I get there and I get ready. And it hasn't started yet, no yips or anything. But Nikki and her group has done a great job in providing the location, the training, and it's something that Simi Valley should be proud of, and it's something that you need. And with that, thank you.
Kathy Conrad?
Good evening. My name is Kathy Conrad. My husband and I have been residents of Simi Valley for 36 years. We've raised our family here. We're retired, and in September of 2021, my husband was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And once we got his medical team squared away and medications, we knew that we had to do something more. And I had researched a lot, and I'd heard that boxing is very good for Parkinson patients. So it so happened that we went to the Simi Valley Fair last May, and my husband was having trouble walking. We had gone the whole length of the booths and so forth. He was tired. So I took him over to the center where the musical group was performing, and they had just finished their set. And then Nikki and Gabby came on with a group of seniors, and they were doing cardio drumming. And this was like a blessing from heaven, because when I heard that they specialize in a fitness program for Parkinson's people, I thought, well, we've got to get involved. So I went running up to Nikki, I asked her for information, and we joined shortly thereafter. And we are very, very committed to it. It has helped my husband tremendously. obviously the medication helps, but even his neurologist has been amazed at how he has, his condition has been pretty steady. And it's helped me. The greatest thing is we both do this together. And I never thought in my retirement years I'd be boxing, doing strength training and all this, but we really enjoy it. And they work us hard, but it's for our own good. And we would greatly appreciate funding for this program. Nikki, Gabby, and Jenny dedicate so much time and effort to us, and we would greatly appreciate your support. Thank you for letting me speak here tonight.
Mr. Mayor, that was the last speaker. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 4A, City Council comments regarding public statements.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes.
I didn't know I'd go first. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and supporting your cause. And we have the debate tonight on which areas to produce funding that will have a great impact for all of Simi Valley. And it'll, regardless of how that goes, I know the Body Brain Drain, and Nikki, all you do is fabulous. I did want to address Ricky, however. There is zero chance I will golf with you, especially for money. You're already going to clean me out. So, but thank you, everybody, for coming down and speaking tonight.
Councilmember Litster.
I loved thank you for all of your comments. Loved all of your comments. And I was doing the math, Nikki, 10 amazing people who are part of your community. And I love that. It's been exciting to see your development in such a short time. You have just ingrained yourself into Simi Valley and what this community is about, and what you do is fabulous and so deserving of all the funds and more. I wish there were more and more funds to give out, but we will have the discussion. But there's no question of your deserving. And I was impressed. Carolyn, you mentioned that there's no cost to seniors for participation, and I appreciated learning that this is that you accept and invite all. That there's a way to make everyone be able to afford participation, and I very much appreciate that. Linda. Thank you for what you do for our historical society and to keep that Strathern amazing facility running and growing. And I had heard what trauma there was on that day, but it's a testament to this community and to you that the show will go on even when the power does not. So thank you again for all that you do. And I will say, as I read all the reports, we will discuss it later when we get to that item on the agenda. There are some outstanding nonprofits doing much work, but certainly these are two of the finest here in this room. So thank you all.
Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 7, the consent calendar. And there is one resolution for your consideration this evening. Consent item 1, resolution number 2024-01, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Simi Valley accepting the public improvements for track number 6055 located at 1800 Tapple Canyon Road.
Mr. Mayor, unless somebody wants something pulled, I'll move consent.
Second.
Call for a vote.
The motion passes unanimously. Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 9A, selection of recipients to receive 2024 Special Event Support Program grants and authorize the city manager to execute contracts with recipients, and Senior Management Analyst Heidi DiNardo is here to present this item.
Good evening, Mayor Thomas and members of the City Council. Try to speak as eloquently as Sadie Rowe of Youth Council. In 2014, the City Council adopted a policy for city support of special events and associated grant program, budgeting $25,000 from the general fund each year. City Council awards these funds to organizations who meet specific qualifications, such as being recognized by the IRS as a nonprofit, who have a board of directors with meetings open to the public and have agreed to provide a report to the city describing how the proceeds from the event were distributed. In accordance with the policy for city support, funding recommendations are provided by the Special Event Support Review Committee, appointed annually, consisting of one representative from each of the 4 neighborhood councils and one representative from the Council on Aging. Since inception of this program, the city averages 7 requests for funding each year. This year, due to increased outreach to prior special event applicants, social media posts, and a press release, the city received 17 applications seeking $93,425 in special event support. The Special Event Support Review Committee held a public meeting on December 13th, 2023, to review the 17 applications received. After hearing public statements, listening to presentations from 13 of the 17 applicants present, and diligently asking questions to the applicants, the committee then had the difficult task of allocating the $25,000 in grant funds. The committee was directed to incorporate preferences based on the direction of City Council to fund events where proceeds are used locally within Simi Valley and to fund events with greater community public benefits over events with lesser community public benefits. The committee is recommending City Council consider funding for 14 of the 17 nonprofits, which are identified on the slide before you. It is recommended the City Council adopt the recommendation of the Special Event Support Review Committee for the 2024 Special Event Support Grants and authorize the city manager to execute grant contracts for those nonprofits. Staff is available if you have any questions. City Council, you should have the correct information, but in the meantime, I'll get you the correct slideshow, which is brief, only 3. Hold, please. Correct year. I know, this is where we keep all our goods. Sorry, it's not so fancy. There's also another PowerPoint, though, that I'd like to get you in the meantime. This is 2023. Hold, please.
While you were pulling that up, Heidi, no, I just wanted to say that I was impressed that it's been 10 years. This is the 10-year anniversary, basically, that this was established. And I just was impressed what has happened. The fact that there were 17 applicants and that as I read through and looked at each of the events, they were all worthwhile, meaningful events. It was a testament to all the exciting and important and valuable activities that are slated for this year in Simi Valley. Anyway,
That's the correct slide.
There you go. Back to you, Heidi.
Thank you. It was so fancy, too. Sorry you missed it. There you are. It's just a little larger for your visibility.
Any input, any thoughts? Councilmember Kavanaugh.
The difference between the Cultural Arts Center Foundation and the Cultural Association?
It's actually completely different, to be quite honest. Simi Valley Cultural Association is a separate nonprofit. Jan Glasband, I believe, is the president of that one. I could be mistaken.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that,
Different than Cultural Arts Center.
yeah, they're not a
altogether.
part of our, okay, that's what I wanted to
That
clarify.
is correct, completely different.
Okay,
And
thank you.
as you read the report, I think they're putting on a 2-day multicultural fair in one of our parks with lots of different.
I have brain fog, so thank you.
No, you have been in the hospital for a lengthy time period.
Thank you.
Councilmember Lister.
No, I wish we had more money. Let me put it that way, because I think all of them are deserving. As I read through all the reports and what was being proposed and how the funds would be used, et cetera, my general sense was that all of these outstanding events will likely happen with or without our financial support. But our financial support just gives them a little breathing room, a little ability to, if the power goes out, to not completely have to lose their shirt and not come back. And so that was my observation as I read through that. What I also saw, and I realized, having sat on committees, it's up to the committee to decide, do they give a lot of money to a small group, or do they spread it out to as many recipients? And I know I've been on scholarship selection groups where, depending on the group, the philosophy, there's some who say, well, you can do so much more with a big chunk of money, so we'll just give it to several people. Or the philosophy is, we want to recognize what everyone is doing and give them some support. And so my sense is that that's what this committee this year decided. Certainly, as Heidi referenced, there were more applicants than normal, but my sense was that they tried to really give everyone a little bit of assistance. And so the fact that they were able to recognize or find funding to support 14 of the 17 applicants shows that they really were trying to spread around the support. And I was impressed too, as I noticed that they did it in 2.5 hours. They started at 6:30 and ended at 9:03. So that's not an easy task to do. So my initial sense was that it seemed very fair. The largest, as I looked at this, you'll notice the largest is actually the Little House on the Prairie. They received $500 more than a couple of the other applicants. But a lot of that was that they are potentially serving 10 to 20,000. I mean, the attendance for that event is huge. It's bringing in theoretically an international group from all over. And so I understand the reason maybe for the largest support there. I just wish we had more money to give them more, but that was just my general overview as I read through. I guess wasn't much as deserving, for instance, by Brain Train, very deserving what you do. I'm not sure though I'm willing to take away something from someone else right now to fund more, but wonderful what you were doing. So that was my initial observation. But I welcome everyone else's thoughts.
I'll make a motion.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, quickly, yeah, I wish we could do more for everybody here, but in that particular case, I know what a big deal it is, and so if you can, I'd like to talk to you about it afterwards, because I would like to become a sponsor. Okay. But yeah, let's entertain a motion.
Could I adopt the recommended of the Special Event Support Review Committee for the 2024 Special Event Support Grants, and authorize the city manager to execute grant contracts for all those grants with recipients?
Second.
Call for a vote.
The motion passes unanimously. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 10A, City Council Member Reports.
Oh. What do I do? Start with the Councilmember Judge.
My goodness. All right, well, I'll make mine quick. On Tuesday, December 19th, I met with some folks that want to reshape the town center. Stuff is pending. Their plans are interesting. We'll see if they come back with something more substantial. Hope everybody had a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. We didn't do too much council-wise between now and then, not until the first of the month. Wednesday, January 3rd, I attended the SCAG EAC meeting, which is Executive Action Committee. We talked about some things, basically putting forward plans. The SCAG meeting on Thursday, which I'll let Rocky talk more about because he's actually our representative there, was very informative on a couple of items. It's probably near and dear to a lot of Californians' heart when it comes to electrifying the state and the future of hydrogen fuel. On Friday, February 5th, I attended the VCTC meeting where I put forward my findings from the SCAG meeting to them because that's who I represent there. And like I said, it was a very interesting meeting. Not too much new for Simi Valley. All the council members got copies of Caltrans stuff. Caltrans is starting their beautification on the 118 freeway, which is why you see the K-rails up against all the off-ramps. So look forward to that. Hopefully they'll do a great job and it'll look really nice when they're done. That is the end of my report.
Councilmember Lidster.
I'm sorry, did not mean to run off, so Mike had to go first. I apologize. Thank you. There were just some notes that I wanted to share that I'd left in my office. First of all, I'd like to reference, talk about the committee that Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes and I are serving on currently. We are being part of the selection process for the RFP for the potential or looking at the amphitheater space possibility here at Civic Center. Before at the end of December, there were 10 responses or 10 RFPs, 10 requests for proposals received from outstanding applicants who would like to basically offer their economic assessment of that possibility for us. And so I have been spending time, I know my counterpart has been doing that as well. We will be meeting soon in a few days to decide to come up with a selection, but just some outstanding perspectives and applicants who'd like to look at that for us. And so that was exciting for me to spend time exploring that, and we'll report more as decisions are made. But it was it's going forward. Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope they had a lovely Christmas and New Year's. Enjoyed a very fun New Year's Eve party. The first time I've stayed up till midnight in a long time. So I just want to say thank you, Mayor. I will say that going forward, as far as city activities, in fact, I was looking at all the things I did, and it wasn't a lot of city activities, but there were a few. On January the 4th, I attended SCAG's Energy and the Environment Committee, and what we were voting on and looking at was a new green print, SoCal Green Print informational program that will be used by entities to basically do overlays so they can see what areas of Southern California have been designated as open spaces, as parks, et cetera, just for uses in planning, for whatever uses that different entities have. It was very interesting because they talked about this whole process that was being developed, its creation, its sponsorship, its uses, et cetera. But what was particularly interesting to me, it hasn't come out yet, but what is interesting to me were the disclaimers that were drafted to go along with this tool. And I thought it was very interesting that it was for informational purposes only, not to constrain future development. It was important that was put into this Green Print program. It does not supersede local planning, which I thought was very important. They discussed the actual disclaimer language to accompany the data. So if it's extracted by someone, it would go forward to where it's being used. So I thought it was interesting that was all part of this Green Print program. So anyway, it did pass by the Energy and Environment Committee. It did pass there. It will be going to the Regional Council next month. So both Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes and Councilmember Judge will be having an opportunity to listen to it and vote on it. The beta test will be put out this spring and then it'll launch in the summer, but it has potential to be very, very helpful. So that was the Energy Environment Committee meeting. I take it now actually to today, Monday, January 8th, did have the opportunity to recognize Kelly Evans, who has done some outstanding work helped organize Holiday in Hopes up at the Simi Town Center. I will tell you that it was a meeting this morning of all of the business owners that are there at the Simi Town Center, and at the very end of the meeting, they all introduced themselves, what entities they represented, and I was fascinated by all the businesses up there that I did not know existed. And if you want to look at the list, I'll be happy to share it because I quickly was jotting everything down. Everything from film editing to just a huge list of different to alterations. I mean, really, it was a very extensive list of people. But what was fun, I thought I would just share that I sat next to Zozo Bakery's owner. I'd never heard of Zozo Bakery before. But this is a Persian bakery that was even mentioned in the LA Times. During COVID, they do most of their work shipping out pastries, Persian pastries. Most of it is not as much walk-in traffic, but they were referenced by LA Times during COVID, and they had a very thriving business shipping out Persian pastries all over the country. And I thought, how fun to know that that's here at our Simi Town Center, and I was so unaware. So I resolved to become more aware, but some exciting businesses that are up there. The other meeting that I attended today was the Council on Aging meeting. Several things I wanted to share from that meeting. The first was that they gave a report on the senior nutrition program, and they gave the numbers for the first or the last 6 months, July through December, as far as what has been produced by that nutrition program. They delivered 21,956 home-delivered meals in that 6-month period. That's a lot of volunteer driving delivery hours. Congregate meals, which is where they come and eat together, 14,862 meals served in that 6-month period. And then in their senior share, which is where seniors come and receive bagged groceries once a week, 2,609 bags of groceries were delivered in that time. So just a very thriving program. They elected their 5 new Council on Aging representatives, who we will be approving soon. 8 amazing candidates, any one of which would have been fabulous. It was kind of, it was a very difficult voting, I'm sure. They were all outstanding. And they wanted to again promote their 80th anniversary, the 50th anniversary kickoff event of the formation of the Council on Aging, January 31st at 2 p.m. Everyone here is invited. They have, you may have noticed this lapel pin that I'm wearing. You probably thought it was the 50th anniversary of the city. No, this is the 50th anniversary of the Council on Aging. And they gave me extras so that I can share one. So you too can have one for your lapel. And I think if I did my math right, there should be one for everyone here. I did think it was the city one. So I know you thought it was the city one, but you now have.
People think it's advertising my age.
This is not advertising your age. You should be proud of it, Rocky. So anyway, everyone is invited to that special event, and there's something to advertise it as well and to commemorate all that they've done in 50 years. And so that concludes my report. Thank you.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also met with the town center owners on December 19th to discuss some ideas and thoughts that they have, and they'll be coming. They asked all of our opinions and thoughts, and they'll come back to us with some ideas later. I proceeded to get sick after that, and so I spent a week at Adventist Health Simi Valley Hospital. You know what? If you're going to be in the hospital, you might as well be somewhere where you're local and your family can visit, and you're so well taken care of. I had the utmost care. They all work 12-hour shifts. So you constantly have a changeover in nurses and respiratory therapy, and everybody was absolutely wonderful at Adventist Health. Jennifer Swenson, you should be proud of every single employee. They treated me like a queen. I was pretty easy. I am an easy patient. My daughter's not an easy patient advocate, but I was an easy patient. They all told me that. So, but no, it really, I was very, very impressed with the care I got from everybody. I have a whole list of all their names. I'll send a nice thank you note. It's really wonderful to not have to go outside your community to get good health care. So I'm very, very happy I made it out of there. Of course, I have great doctors, and this is my first public event since then. So I'm happy to be here and breathing and alive. So let's see. Oh, I did, being in the hospital, you watch a lot of TV, right? I actually watched the Rose Parade from start to finish, first off. And wasn't one of our local Elks? Or so who's on the Elks Lodge? One of our local...
Yes, there was one of our local Elks members was riding on the Elks float. He was a Vietnam Marine, and he was wearing his uniform and riding on the Elks float that celebrated veterans.
Yeah, I thought that was fantastic. I couldn't remember his name, but I knew Mike would be aware of it. And being a Rotarian, I was also very proud of the Rotarian float. We won an award, and 2 of the walkers are people I do RILA with. So that was very exciting to see them out there. Back to Adventist Health. Telemetry 1, they were the best. That was the floor I was on. And then coming up January 18th, we have our Economic Development Collaborative annual dinner, and it's at Zakari. Is that what we're calling it? The Zakari Beach. It's the old Mandalay Beach. So that's good. I'm excited to see that. It's completely renovated. So that will be my final as the chair. Yay. And we'll go forward with that. And then this 11th, on Thursday, the Soroptimist Club is putting on the human trafficking event. I believe our chief will be there, along with other people. I'm very interested. That'll be a good event. It always is. Soroptimist does a great job. And, this Friday, it's a sold-out event, Simi Valley Police Foundation, honoring our wonderful police department. Very excited to be able to be there and join our community in celebrating our police department. So that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also met with the developers regarding the mall. I can't remember if it was Monday the 18th or the 19th, but we continued that discussion. On Thursday, December 21st, I attended the Bridle Path HOA meeting. They had some concerns that both a security concern and some housing concerns, which I will bring up in a moment for new business for the council. Then fast forward to Thursday, January 4th, a full day downtown. Within SCAG, I sit on the Community Economic and Human Development Committee as well as the Regional Council. The highlights from the council meeting were SCAG is going to sponsor 2 RENA reform bills, and I think anybody that's gone through the RENA process knows that reform is essential to figure out what are going to be our obligations for providing for housing, and I look forward to seeing those. They focus on accountability and methodology, which are both things that the RENA process didn't really have. Another action was the Regional Council approved $35 million in competitive grant funding to support the regional utilities supporting housing pilot program. And since we have a representative of the county here, I will say that Ventura County got $0 in that last round of funding, but it is also a very specific use, and perhaps it was not needed, but we've done very well in the past in getting those funds. We also had a presentation from Transportation Technology and a panel discussion. So there's no action taken, but the panel discussion was, how are we going to get to the zero emissions ideal that has been set down from Sacramento. And so we had presentations from Southern Cal Edison on what they believe is the possibility of getting the grid in line, as well as power generation. We had a discussion from an example from San Bernardino Transportation on electric train or a hydro train that will actually go the 9 miles back and forth across their community. And then we had a presentation about hydrogen producing stations and how to build out that infrastructure. I will say that my takeaway from that is these are all great and wonderful ideals. The odds of this working as believed by those with crystal balls and no common sense is that we're not going to get there in the time frame, but we're moving in the right direction. And also during that meeting, there was a new phenomenon that is now going through lots of public meetings, the Zoom bombing. And because our meetings on Zoom are open to both remote council members and the public, we got bombed with incredibly salacious material that shut down our meeting, and we had to adjourn for 10 minutes or so. And so I'm going to remember that experience because it was horrifying when and if it ever comes before our dais again on whether to open up Zoom meetings. Until that technology is such that we can prevent that, I think it's a bad idea. Also on that same day, I've recently been assigned to one of the League of California Cities committees, and another acronym, and it is GTLR, Government Transparency and Labor Relations, and I sat through an orientation meeting for that. We'll have our first meeting this month. Today, we celebrated Kelly Evans up at the mall for her great work to the community, and that is the end of my report.
Mr. Mayor, if I could, real quick, the name of the Simi Valley citizen and the elk that was on the float is John Miller. Congratulations, John, for making it. That was a nationwide search, by the way,
Wow.
that picked him to be on that float.
Very cool. All right, well, I had a quiet December, although on Tuesday, December 19th, I did get a request for a meeting with the potential buyers of the mall. I explained I could not meet them anywhere as I was recovering from surgery, but agreed to let them come to my house, which they took me up on, and we had a good meeting. I sat up as long as I could and then kicked them out. But they actually brought some news that I thought was encouraging. So I'm anxiously awaiting more feedback from them in the future. And then last Friday, January 5th, I attended the City Selection Committee appointment meeting, which is basically a meeting of all the mayors of Ventura County. We all met at the fire department headquarters in Camarillo and to choose assignments for county positions. So it was interesting, all getting together like that. And then, of course, this morning up at the mall, Kelly, what a firecracker she is. She seems like a real get-it-done person. She seems to be driving the whole motivation up there among the owners to get. And I loved seeing all the energy up there with the owners of the businesses that are in the mall about what they're doing to try to bring business and bring activity up to the mall. I thought that was really great. So with that, I'm going to call for any future agenda items, and seeing none, no. Mayor Pro Tem Rhodes?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have two things that I would like to bring forward. The first one, I would like to discuss an ordinance change regarding setbacks for barns in animal overlay areas. It's a sort of a technical detail, but I think that solidifying it would be good. Do we do one at a time, or?
Yes, please.
All right.
Just he needs a second on that to bring it forward.
I'll second it.
The other thing, I would like to have a discussion about adding a checkbox or a verification that on our applications at planning for verification that an SB 9 lot split has reached out and and alerted an HOA if there's an HOA involved in that.
I'll second that.
If the council wants, what we can do is we can work with the city attorney's office to put a memo together to let you know
sort of
what kind of
address
the implications are, and
Okay.
we can take it from there.
Okay.
Those are all my
Councilmember-
items, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Litzer.
Thank you, Mayor. I have been very concerned about the recent spate of bicycle accidents and bicycle fatalities of late. You may have noticed in the Acorn that on December 28th, we lost Patty Cooper McGarry, a mother of 7 daughters. 5 of the girls are 10 and under. And this occurred at this is a car bicycle accident at the intersection of Erringer and Fitzgerald. And then we lost Andres Zuniga, who succumbed 10 days. He was in a bicycle accident on November 29th, 2023, at the intersection of Mount Sinai Drive and Cuner, and he succumbed 10 days later to his injuries. On January 4th, there was an accident at the intersection of Stearns and Los Angeles Avenue, vehicle versus bicycle, with the bicyclist sustaining major injuries. I understand the vehicle fled the scene, but that's just what I'm aware of in the last less than a month. I was impressed to see that we appear to have one of the best number of bike lanes, but I'm concerned that we are not doing enough to make sure that they are safe, well marked, lit, etc. And I appreciate. I will say I also noticed that the Simi Valley Police Department put out a recent statement about sharing the road safely, posting, talking about ways to help make sure that automobiles are more aware of bicyclists, etc., and what to do. But I wonder if there's something that we can do at our level to ensure more safety. And I know that there's supposed to be a study about our bike lanes, et cetera, but what can we do to make things safer for our
Yeah, so
bicyclists?
just real briefly, we are doing a update to our bicycle master plan, so that is taking place. We've recognized the issue, and PD is working on an education campaign that we can expand out to more of the community about making both bicyclists and drivers aware, sharing the road and all those natures. So we're going to move in that direction to try an education campaign in the community to make sure everyone is paying a little bit more attention to what's going on out there.
How soon is that bicycle master plan slated to be unveiled, shown, discussed?
Ron, do you have any idea?
So we're a year out at this point? Does it address things such as ways that we mark the bike lanes?
It does,
Where
yes.
we put them, for instance, I noticed on Cochrane, there are no bike lanes, at least where I live near there. Does it address
It
how?
will address safe locations for bike lanes and the methods for marking them and things of that nature.
Because
But-
I'm particularly concerned at intersections. It's like it disappears at least in our city, at intersections, that marking is not always prevalent.
And some of that is wear and tear, which we have funding now for restriping of lanes and bike lanes and things of that nature. So we'll be addressing that over the next couple months. And some of that is, and some of this is attributable to riders that should maybe not be riding in proper location, as well as drivers
Sure.
not paying attention
Sure.
to as well. So I think there's a combination of issues going on, but clearly over the last 45 days, it's identifying the lack of attention that's happening on perhaps both sides. So that's what we need to address is try and get that attention back to awareness as well as making sure our streets are safe. And there are some streets that, as a former cyclist, I wouldn't even ride on. So I don't want to assume that every street in the city is going to be safe for a bicyclist to be on, because it very well may not be.
But I'd like to be able to tell bicyclists which ones we are trying to make safe.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that just overall safety on the roads, it eroded a little bit during COVID is when the roads were empty and the freeways were empty, people started driving faster, and we've had a hard time getting them to slow back down, so.
And I believe if I'm correct, Chief, I think we recently got a grant for distracted driving enforcement. Yep. Yeah, so that'll play into this as well.
Okay.
Not to mention a new motorcycle on the road. Okay, with that, I'm going to adjourn this meeting in memory of the Oakland police officer, Tuan Lee. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Have a good evening.